All right, everybody. So today I want to talk about touching versus knowing. A lot of us experience our world in a limited capacity, and we do that out of necessity, right? We can only experience so much of our existence. But this topic came to me when I saw a bumper sticker. Well, one of those little decals for a national park on the side of someone's vehicle. And that, along with an article I had read recently, really brought some things into focus that I wanted to share with you. The article that I read said that despite tremendous uptake in traffic to national parks, less than 10% actually leave and actually travel more than a quarter mile from a road. Now, as a longtime hiker, there's always been that rule of thumb that if you want to get away from people, all you have to do is hike more than 3 miles. And it sounds pessimistic, but honestly, it's kind of true. But it really opened my eyes to how so many people function. You see all these bumper stickers, think we've traveled these places, and I've gone places and I've explored, or even if I did take a trail, I've taken one trail in an area. And not only is there a ton of land that doesn't have a trail, but only one out of 50, 100 sometimes, a tremendous number of trails that are available. And I'll go and I'll see a place, and we do it even where we live, right? Based on our interests, there'll be tons of things if you live in a larger area, a larger city, that maybe you don't even know exist. But the reason I bring it up is because we have a tendency to do this with a lot of our goals and dreams. And in our decision making process about what we want to do, we'll hit a touch point on something, we'll have an experience with an interest. We'll say, "Oh, I want to do this. I want to check this out," and we touch on it ever so lightly, and we do it in a way that doesn't give the outcome we want, or it's not enjoyable, and we quit. But I want you to think about this in a larger scale. Imagine you're an alien, right? And all you come to Earth and you land in New York City. But what you're looking for is fresh, clean air and quiet and grass and greenery. But your whole experience of the state is in New York City. And I bring up New York City because I'm from what we call Central New York. And I grew up in rolling hills and a lot of farmland area. I did grow up in a city. But it was small enough that it was pretty easy to get out of. And what people don't know is the majority of upstate New York isn't tremendously developed. New York City, yes, it's very developed. But in the same state, we also have one of the largest state parks in our country. I hiked 46, there's 46 high peaks in Adirondack State Park alone. And that's only in an upper corner of the park. There's acres and acres and so much that I've never even seen, and that's within the state. And to bring it back around to what we're talking about with goals and dreams, a lot of us will experience one thing like that, where if you go out even more global, maybe you land in the desert and you like cold. But if it's the only thing you've ever touched on, You're like, oh, this place is not for me. I'm out. Right? But the earth is so much more diverse. Like New York State, what it had to offer is so diverse. And so is our ability to see a lot of our dreams realized. We think we know something based on initial reactions, or maybe we've dabbled in it, but the pathway, we've taken a particular pathway and it's resulted in an outcome we didn't enjoy, or the process was something we didn't enjoy. And I get that. When I started getting into life coaching, I tried to learn how to engage on social media, and I paid a lot of money, and what it actually ended up doing is made me hate social media. I'm like, I don't want to use social media. And for a while, I almost stopped. But if I were to stop, I wouldn't be on YouTube now. I wouldn't be on Instagram. I wouldn't be on LinkedIn. Although, to be fair, I'm barely on LinkedIn. No. But I would be limiting myself. Now, do I do what that person showed me to do? No, because it's not right for me. Right? But if someone told me that social media is the only way to grow your business, and I had a bad experience with social media, how easy would it have been for me to say, hey, maybe I don't want to be a coach. Maybe this isn't the right thing for me. Which isn't the truth, because I know how much I love it, and I know how much I love helping people make the changes they want in their life. But if I only used that touch point, and it was a couple months, so it wasn't just a single touch point, but it was the same vein, the single path to get to where I was going. If I only use those initial experiences to decide how to utilize the social media, or to how approach growing my business, growing my coaching business, I probably would have stopped. It's only because I was willing to look at other options and to revisit opportunities, or to ask around and see what other options exist, that I've been able to maintain my momentum and work to grow my business in a way that is fulfilling for me and joyful for me. And for you, whatever your goal is, I want you to recognize that those are options for you as well, even if the overall outcome may be something specific or relatable, so other people can be like, hey, this is how I've done it. Recognize that if, depending on how long you've done something, and yes, you can know right away you don't enjoy something, but if there's something that you care about, or you dreamed about doing, you wanted to accomplish, and you started it, and the way you learned just wasn't for you, I encourage you to revisit and expand your viewpoint. See if there's another direction, another way that you can reach your goal. Because in my experience, there almost always is. There are a million different ways for people to reach the same point. And finding the way that is right for you can mean the difference between you living the life you wanted, or narrowing your thinking to thinking there's only one path and giving up. So take that food for thought. Revisit those dreams that maybe you thought weren't for you. See if there's another way. Times change, opportunities grow, and they change as well. So ask yourself, is it worth giving another chance? Is it worth giving another shot? Is it worth living more of the life that you truly want? I'd say yes.